Now, Bovino is on the road again, checking on another city on his naughty list, New Orleans.
Border Patrol Chief Greg Bovino joins us now. Sir, we're glad to have you tonight. Thanks for being with us. I'm interested in that interaction you had with the mayor in Evanston, because it strikes me that if you want to reduce, what he calls chaos on the streets, maybe you ought to help the guys who are trying to find violent offenders and bad guys in your community. Greg, what's your response to the way he confronted you?
Well, Dagan and Brian, it's good to be here. Thanks for having me, and Merry Christmas. The mayor there in Evanston, first and foremost, he makes the conscious decision to choose illegal aliens over American citizens. He chooses violence in his communities and surrounding communities, and for some odd reason does not want the United States Border Patrol to take that violence away. That's why we're in those communities in the first place, because community leaders and activists like him, they choose not to turn criminals over to ICE and Border Patrol the way they should, and that is why we are in those communities, and he does not seem to be able to get that through his skull.
Guys, that's absolutely counterproductive. I would suspect if you wanted to make it so that there was going to be less collateral, specifically meaning the collateral migrants who get kind of illegal immigrants who get caught up in the arrest and detainment of actually charged criminal illegal aliens, if that makes any sense here. If you want to make it so those people who generally will not commit a secondary or tertiary offense are not being taken out, you should be allowing ICE to specifically enter into the jails, right, and get the people you're arresting who you know are illegal, right? Like, you will immediately stop all the secondary tiers that you guys are dropping, right? You would stop that. There would be less people being taken out of your cities if you would just make things easier. But instead, you're telling them to go into the area where this illegal immigrant is hiding, knowing all and well, they know that they're going to go into that building and they're going to find 10 more illegal immigrants in that same building. You could have stopped all of that other 10 and just had the one, but you know what? Listen, continue posturing.
Chief, tell us about, well, if there are any, of the mayors, towns, communities who are tightening it up, so to speak, where you've gone in and they recognize the problem and maybe they turn and they do a 180 and begin, I'm not talking about the crazy sanctuary cities, but begin to become willing to work with you and enforce the laws of the land, so to speak.
Sure, Dagan, there's no better place to talk about that than New Orleans and the great state of Louisiana.
Okay.
The support that we've received in Louisiana, all the way from the governor's office to those state and local police chiefs and state police, has been astounding. It's been fantastic. To give you an example of what that does for us on the ground in Louisiana is we've had one, I'll say again, one act of violence against Border Patrol since we've been here in Louisiana under Operation Catahoula Crunch. Just one. Now, take a look at Chicago. We were on the ground in Chicago, and approximately within the first hour, there was a felonious violent assault against Border Patrol. So I'll tell you what, Louisiana is doing it the right way. I hope some other folks in other states will take a look at what they're doing, and we can conduct this Title 8 mission legally, ethically, morally, and in a sound fashion. That's what we want to do.
You know, in the places where you face all this resistance, the critique all the time is you're in there creating mayhem, right? And everything is sort of chaotic. Then you talk about New Orleans, where you're getting support and help. My guess is you're probably much more effective at finding the right people because you're getting the support. Why doesn't that translate to the places where they claim to be so concerned about the mayhem and the chaos? This is what I was pointing out
here.
You know, in attempting to have talks with the individuals in some of those sanctuary states like Mayor Biss and others, it seems that they're so focused on those agenda-driven talking points that they can't see the light. You know, it's amazing. Sometimes we'll apprehend a very vile illegal alien criminal in the community, and they're still rioting, violent mobs forming, while we're arresting a very, very bad person. So I think they're so agenda driven, sometimes they just can't see the light, even though it's working out very well in a place like New Orleans and Louisiana.
Do the mayors acknowledge who hide and coddle these illegal alien criminals? That I just remember during the Biden administration, there were illegal aliens who were arrested in my tiny little county in South Central Virginia for like child trafficking and rape.
Jesus.
And these are tiny towns. And they were coming from other states because they were being coddled by the very types of leaders that you were standing up against. Chief, final word to you.
Exactly. We've got Ma and Pa America's back, Dagan and Brian, and we're not going to stop. There's a lot of bad people still out there. You know what happened over the past 4 years with the millions coming across the border? We're going to go after those bad people and those bad things, and we're going to get them all. We've got your back, Ma and Pa America, and we hope you all have a Merry Christmas.
Chief,
all right, guys. Again, like it definitely would be great if they would actually, like the mayors specifically of the sanctuary cities, or the governors that are also backing some of these mayors. I can only go right back to Illinois. Let's talk about Illinois in the context of this here, and you can see immediately what I'm talking about. Okay, now listen. Okay, if J.B. Pritzker, the governor of Illinois, was to tell the mayor of Chicago, as in Brandon Johnson, my literal adversary, okay, if you were to tell him, hey guys, you know what, I don't think it's a good idea that we not allow them specifically into our jails and prisons any longer. Maybe we should allow them to, okay, for the sole purpose, for one singular purpose, and that is to stop the overall collateral, because it seems like they want the collateral to happen so it proves their point or something like that. They just utilize the collateral as the woe is me, feel bad, you know, this makes me feel bad type of thing. That's what it seems like. All right, just from the outside looking in. They want it to happen, so they don't want to fix it. But Brandon Johnson doesn't want to talk about the fact that when ICE was specifically large scale in Chicago, the crime rate started to drop. So now imagine what would have happened if you actually allowed the National Guard to come in and basically clean up the west and south side of your crime-ridden city, right? What do you think about that, guys? Imagine just like kind of what happened with the National Guard being in Memphis, right? Understand this here. The people that would have lost their lives that have not lost their lives. If Brandon Johnson cared that much, he would definitely, in fact, and I mean in fact, done something about the criminality, but he seems to want to utilize the criminality as like a talking point or like a ledge he can stand on whenever he wants to run again, most likely for vice president if J.B. Pritzker tries to run, which would be absolutely abysmal. I do hope that, as a matter of fact, J.B. Pritzker running for president with Brandon Johnson as the vice president against Vance and anyone else. That's a good run right there, guys. I mean, that's a good run. They're going to lose terribly. Matter of fact, J.B. Pritzker and AOC, do that together. That'll be a joke. That'll be a joke. Brandon, hold on, wait. No, AOC and Gavin Newsom on the 2028 ticket versus, I don't know, Vance and his puppy. All right. That's that. Guys, do you want to watch movies with me? I never actually thought to like promote it over here, guys. But if you guys do want to watch it, guys, we have hundreds of movies, and I mean hundreds of movies that we've reacted to. You guys can come watch them with me if you want to, along with many TV shows. Currently, we're working on the show Dexter, along with Vikings, and we have a lot of series that are already completed. But if you guys do want to watch it with me, the link is in the description. Everything's available at the second tier. But of course, if that's not your thing, guys, don't worry. Right? Listen, like and subscribe.